Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rewind. I'm Kira, and this week we are sailing the seas because there are pirate games everywhere. So many pirate games. Hey, I've got Karen in the comments, Gator Dave, Dean, what's up everybody? Thanks for joining me this evening. I suppose I should put on my best pirate voice, but I'm just not good at that, so I'm just going to skip it. I might throw in a couple of yards here and there. But the reason why tonight is pirate themed is because there's been so many freaking pirate games. Like, it's definitely feeling like the theme of 2020 as far as board game themes. I don't know what everybody else is thinking, but it just feels kind of crazy how many pirate games there are. Hey, Steven. And so, yeah, so there's a new Tiny Epic Pirates. Tiny Epic and Pirates, I'm here for it. I'm here for most pirate games. I like pirates a lot. And what I think is interesting about the current pirate environment is that pretty much all of the pirate games that have kind of shown up this year all seem to have enough variation to them that you could enjoy each of them for what they are. There's not like a ton of overlap in the gameplay experience, for instance. So, have I ever dressed up as a pirate for Halloween? Is a question in the comments from Dean. Probably. I would imagine I probably just dressed up a pirate just because actually my friends Kevin and Coco, when they got married, they had a pirate themed wedding. So I definitely dressed up as a pirate then. I kind of forgot. Gosh, that was a long time ago. Anyway, but to the point at hand. So earlier this year, I mean, there was a couple of pirate games on Kickstarter earlier in the year. There's generally just a good amount of pirate games. I was looking like back through some stuff that just happened to be sitting at the studio or on my own shelves. And it's not like we haven't ever had pirate games before. Obviously, we have. One that came to my mind while playing Tiny Epic Pirates was a game called Black Fleet, which was, hey John, uh, welcome to everyone who's joining now as well. So there was a game called Black Fleet many years ago. Some friends of ours introduced it to us when we came to play, and oh yeah, check out this game; it's so good. You could probably retheme it. Like nothing had no. The game went under the radar. It was called Black Fleet, like I said, and it could have been themed with any kind of. Could have been space. It could have been whatever, anything where there's some sort of pick up and deliver element to it. And it works. But ultimately, the game felt a little broken to me at the time. And so I ultimately got rid of it. And it's one of those things where it's been so long now since I got rid of it. I'm not even really sure exactly why I had that feeling. But I always wanted something like that. And so with Tiny Epic Pirates, I felt like I got what I was hoping for out of Black Fleet and then some. So just bringing in some new stuff for Tiny Epic. So I'll bring in some pictures here while I'm talking about it. Let's see. Boop. So what's really great about Tiny Epic Pirates is not only that you have the basic pick up and deliver system of you're a pirate ship, there are merchant ships, you're going to be looking to pick up booty and sell it in the merchant marketplace. You're going to be looking to, pirate merchant ships and steal that booty, and ultimately turn around, sell the booty for gold, bury the gold. That is the game in a nutshell. But there's this really lovely underlying captain's orders things that it brings into it, and so there's this rondelle on your helm mat, and there are 6 total spaces, and 5 of them are variable every game. They're going to be randomly put into their different spaces, and they each have an icon on them that is a captain's order. And you'll see these same icons throughout the game on the map pieces, on the crew cards, on the captain's cards. And what's so neat about this rondelle is that as you're going around, yeah, there's those individual actions, but those crew cards and the captain cards on the bottom. So on the top, they have these die numbers, and that's for fighting when you're plundering and all that fun stuff. But when you are looking to just do a certain action, and like I said, each of those actions, if you're on that action and that action exists on your crew card or your captain's card, you're going to be able to then trigger that. So the combos that then come out are just super satisfying. I really, really, really enjoyed, here's a good picture of the rondelle. So I really, really enjoyed what this did. And you have this whole legend mat too, and you're working your legend up, which is going to help you with movement and all that fun stuff as well. But the best part, the satisfying piece that Tiny Epic Pirates brings to the pirate game, if you will, is that rondelle and those captain actions and how they're all going to trigger off of each other. It's so good. Really, really loved it. And I'm looking forward to playing it more now. At 2-player, it's really quick, right? It just is, especially if you trigger those combos well, and once you have an experienced player, you guys can buzz through it pretty quick because you know what you're doing. It's a little easier to just kind of do your own thing in a 2-player because, um, it, it's kind of like you have to pay attention to the other player in a 2-player, make sure they're not sneaking off to victory, but you don't want to invade and fight them too much because I guess it's up to you. It's your kind of game. But one of the things that I notice is like the higher player count, you're going to have a lot more player interaction just because the map is only so big, right? So it's really going to depend, and it's as mean as you want it to be at the end of the day. You can totally just fight merchant ships, but fighting each other is fun. Like it just is. And you're going to roll the die, and you see these die numbers at the top of the different crew and captain cards, and it's basically matching. So for every 5 you roll, if you have a 5 on a captain and 2 crew, that's 3 hits right there. So you can really, again, combo those up as well if you're looking across or you can spread it out so no matter what you're hitting, so you have all the different die phase across your crew. It's just really an interesting game, and it's yet another new and fun Tiny Epic game. Yes, you've got resources you're managing in the game, the gold, which has got its own little gold track, and you've got the booty, which I'm just going to say booty bag all the time. I love, so you get the booty bag. That's what it's called in the rule book, and you shake the booty bag and get your booty out. Anyway, that's Tiny Epic. I can just keep going on and on about Tiny Epic, but there's a lot of other pirate games, and we have been playing a slew of them lately. I'll talk about a couple that I haven't personally gotten to play, and that is Sea of Nadia, which is one that David got his hands on. He did a preview. He did a preview for it. It's on Kickstarter now, I'm pretty sure. I haven't had a chance to play the game, but the artwork is phenomenal. I don't know. Is anybody out there backing it? Tell me if you are in the comments. But it again. This looks like a pick up and deliver game. It looks like it's got some interesting elements to it. There's places for treasure. You have your own boats. I'm not sure what else comes to the game, so we'll have to go check out David's preview to learn more about it. But it's a very pretty game, and that's I think one of the greatest things is with the pirate games, people are really making sure that they take good advantage of all this lovely art that exists out there and these artists to bring the sea of life. We could just have a lot of blue and a lot of pirate look, but like there's vibrancy to all of it. One of those games I think is really vibrant that I can speak more about is Sea of Legends. And I think this is one that brings something new as well, in the fact that it has it's narrative driven app that it has that's a lot of different branching paths, like hundreds of different branching paths, gorgeous miniatures, just really cool art. And yeah, it's got pick up and deliver. It's got all the same kind of things you'd expect to a degree, but it's really up to you what kind of game you're going to have. And there's these, you could have these different paths. You can even find yourselves on the paths of the monsters you're fighting. And they have this unique mechanism of the lover and the nemesis. So you have 2 people that you care about that have different, that are going to have different impacts on your game and different storylines that you can follow in the narrative piece inside the app. And as you make those selections, in addition to just taking the different actions on the board, different things are going to unfold for you and maybe change how your game is going to play out, what your goals are in order to win. And I think that's just a really interesting thing. And then again, that's the kind of thing that can just be added to over time. And so, I don't know, very beautiful game coming out of Guildhall Studios on Kickstarter as well. And that's it. So those are all 3 Kickstarter games. Now I'm going to talk about some. I'm not sure when exactly Feed the Kraken is going to come out, but it is also, we talked about this one a little bit already um, before, and this is a social deduction game. So you've got pirates, you've got the Navy, and then you've got these cultists. So it brings in a fun new element where you've got the cultists who are working to feed the Kraken, and there's just one hidden cultist among everyone on the ship. And you've got a navigator, a lieutenant, and you've got this secret mechanism of choosing cards. And then when it gets to the captain, he then makes a decision about which way to go based off what the lieutenant and navigator left in the box for the captain to choose from. And so you are then having to deduce who are pirates, who is Navy, who's the cultist, because every decision you make in moving around the map is going to matter in helping you figure that out and making it so that your team wins, whether you're the pirate team, the Navy team, or if you're secretly on your own team as the cultist. Which I think at different player counts there probably are more than one cultist, but at the player count we played at there was only one. It was me, and I won on accident. Don't tell anybody. All right, so that's Feed the Kraken. Uh, and I've said this before, I'm not like a huge social deduction fan, but there are a few that will grab me. One of those being Don't Mess with Cthulhu is one of the best ones out there. The new version of Time Bomb, which is a lot like Don't Mess with Cthulhu, but this new version of Time Bomb has these cool little, just a bunch of little stuff. I'm looking forward to playing that with everybody when we're able to get back together. But Feed the Kraken, we were able to play over Skype, and not obviously the ideal way to play a social deduction game. Maybe, I don't know. For me, it was, but it was lovely because the designers were in total pirate garb for us. And of course, they were also the actual pirates. And I don't know that if that was on purpose, but it definitely worked out that way, which was fabulous. Um, so, so yeah, so that's yet another pirate game, and that'll be coming to Kickstarter soon. So then the other day, David got in a game called Dead Reckoning, and I don't have a ton of photos of this, and so I'm sorry, I haven't had a chance to see this one in person, so I just pulled a couple. But if you go to our Instagram, Man vs. Meeple on Instagram, you'll see a few more photos that David had posted. And it's got this incredible table presence. And it looks very interesting. Again, this is one I don't have a lot of information on, but when I look at it, I don't go, oh, that looks just like such and such pirate game I just saw the other day, right? It looks like it has its own unique things going on, which I think is phenomenal. And I just like that they all seem to catch my interest in a different way for different reasons. Sea of Legends, one of the cool things about Sea of Legends, if you read any of the stuff those guys are talking about and what inspired them for the game, like they really liked Ryan Laukatz's games, Above and Below, Near and Far, with the choose your own adventure vibe that it has to it. They really liked Raiders. They really like Western Legends and that sandboxy feel, and that's what they were going for with Sea of Legends. And I like that because it's really like in Western Legends, you're going to get to do what you want to do, and you have to. In any of those kind of games, there's always seemingly an optimal route for winning, but there's that added layer of having to pay attention to what people are doing, keep them from doing it. If everybody's doing the same thing, then that's not going to work. Causes more fighting. And then, that extra layer of that app-driven narrative just jacks everything up in a really interesting way. So, oh, look, we've got Andrew here and Steven. Hey, everybody. Talking about, oh, Andrew's watching Last Airbender. Great show. So glad to see that on Netflix. And Flick of Faith, yeah, is on my bottom shelf. It's one of those odd shaped boxes, so it gets a special spot down there. All right, so what else do we have? Well, we've talked about Forgotten Waters quite a bit, and I started to get back into this one. So This one is a crossroads game. You are on the hunt for whatever. There's different narratives and different things going on, and so you're going to be doing a variety of different things based on that narrative and the choices that you make. And so in a choose your own adventure way, and it does have an app. It's a web-based app, and the writing on it's phenomenal. So it's got its scenario. It'll have your scenario set up, and but your goals in this are different, and it's a co-op versus a competitive game, which I think is really interesting. I believe there is a competitive version of it as well, and I know there's a solo as well for those of you who might be wondering, that I think is on their website. But again, most pirate games that I just went through specifically are not really fully co-op. Like Feed the Kraken, maybe because you're dealing with um, you're dealing with the team element, but you still don't know who's who. You're deducing who's who. But this is, you can truly co-op in Forgotten Waters, and you're making decisions about who's going to do what. There's a little bit of your own element of you are a pirate after all, working towards your own goals and filling out that character sheet so that you can be the best pirate by the end of your adventure. But ultimately, you are working together, which is really great. So, speaking of just pirate games in general, please tell me what some of your favorites are in the comments. I know that we've talked a lot about what's going on right now with pirate games, but there's a bunch of good ones out there. And I see Steven brings up Treasure Island. I also have, I actually brought a few back with me just from the studio I stopped at. I was like, what pirate games have come out? So like Skull Tales, um, gosh, there's been so many over the years, but yeah, I would say Treasure Island. There's I can't remember. There's a little. You got Bad Maps from Floodgate Games. There's just been, and I'm like skimming just last couple years. I know there's far more than that. I've never played Merchants and Marauders, but my guess is that's a pirate game, and it's a sandbox one as well. So and I know that one has a bunch of pick up deliver because you always hear people talk about it with pick and deliver. And it's kind of, I mean, it's just an obvious mechanism to put in a pirate game, right? What can you have? I guess the question is, can you have a pirate game without pick up and deliver? There's always some element of, I need to get X thing in order to acquire the gold, right? I need to get the booty, get the treasure, do the things, bury it in the places, be a filthy, dirty, rich pirate, right? And sail the seas and do the piratey things. So, I don't know what other pirate games are out there. Which ones am I missing? Which ones are good? Which ones do you guys like? Uh, let's see. So if we don't stick on that too much, I thought it was interesting. There's so many pirate games and so many pirate games at once on top of it. I feel like it's just like they're super bunched up. Let's see, Libertalia, Drake and Drake, Skull and Shackles Pathfinder Adventure card game. Ooh, so yeah, there's lots out there. I mean, even Dice Throne, you've got the Cursed Pirate. There's pirates everywhere, and they're fun to play with and as. Pirates Cove, Jamaica, Sid Meier's Pirates. That's a good one, of course. Lots and lots of great pirate games out there. And so it's kind of, I think themes go in waves. So I think this is the year of pirates and probably one other thing we'll see a slew of, and then it'll go down for a little while. We'll see one here and there, and then it'll all of a sudden pirates will be a thing again. Oh, Ship Shape. I should have brought up Ship Shape. That one was just last year. It's not that long ago. So, like I said, there's always something piratey around, but it seems like we got a bunch of them all at once. So, other things that I have been playing lately, and what we as a group have been playing, if you guys have been watching Chit Chat, we do that weekly right now on Thursdays. So we've covered a little bit of this, so some of this might be a repeat. Though I never get tired of talking about Tekenu. I know I'm not saying it right. I want to call it Tekenu because that's how it looks like you say it. But I think it's Tekenu, Obelisk of the Sun. And it's a game that the first time we played it on TTS. And I was like, ooh, I really like that. I'd like to play it again. And the TTS thing is tedious and it's a long game. Not like super long, it just depends on who you're playing with. When you're playing with David, and like Jeremy Howard. No offense, guys, but you're a little AP. Even Jeremy and Ryan can get AP sometimes. I get AP occasionally, especially when I think I might actually have a chance at winning in those groups. So I'll AP out. And those games lend themselves to it because there's so many paths to victory, and you're looking for the optimal path. And uh-oh, somebody screwed with your optimal path. So now how do I have to adjust? And so a little AP is going to come into it. So the games can go a little bit long. Now, Jeremy and his wife Sarah and I played in basically an hour and 5 minutes, a 3-player game. None of us are particularly AP, though Jeremy will get a little AP when he sees somebody creeping up on his score. And I didn't actually think I was doing as well as I was. Now, I think we played a couple of things wrong. So that was only my second play, but since we played it, it's just like on my mind. I can't stop thinking about it. Liked it a lot. Want to play it again. Want to go back and obviously play it correctly. There was a couple things that we got wrong in the rules. So I actually want to play again and see how it feels with those changes. Not that they were major, but they kind of are, like as far as how well I did against the folks I was playing against. So let's see. What else have we been playing? So we played the new Raiders, Raiders of Scythia, I believe, or Scythia. I should know that, but I don't. And I mean, really, can we please just start getting on the BGG page and in the rule book, just the pronunciation thing? Like when you look up anything anywhere anymore, like, oh, here, like on a Wikipedia, it's like, here's the name and here's how you freaking say it. So help us out because Ella can't make a video for every difficult to say thing or unknown pronunciation of something. So we need somebody to come out and just put it in BGG and on the rule book. Let's do that and make everybody feel better and not say the game names wrong. Uh, End rant. But that game, Raiders, I had never played I have never played the previous Raiders. Uh, Jeremy says it's like a streamlined Raiders, which is fine for me because I really loved it. I loved it. I was not super turned on by the look of it at first. The card art, and then you look at it and you're like, ooh, the card art. I think it's the colors. The colors were just like really green and brown and just like these muted colors. But then when you look at the cards, like, ooh, that's pretty. And that's all. As the board is what it is. But the cards are gorgeous. And the game itself is wonderful. And so it's a nice streamlined worker placement. The rating and the choices that you're making with where you're putting them, you're putting one down, you're picking one up. In order to take those, you're taking 2 actions every turn. And if you're just taking regular working actions, and if you're rating, it works a little bit differently. You're putting one down, you're getting a worker back, but you're not actually taking a second action. It's got this interesting animal element where you're putting horses or eagles into your tableau to give you boons or boosts accordingly. And I don't know, I really enjoyed it. It's another one that's been on my mind since we played it. So let's see, we've got some comments going on here. I got a seconded for the pronunciation. So yeah, if I haven't made it clear, I really like the new Raiders. Makes me want to go and play the one I haven't played. But I like the whole streamline thought, so I think I might just stick with this one because I really liked it. Let's see. So Joe mentioned Fallout Shelter behind me. I did recently play this again. I just taught it to my husband. And I like it. I like it a lot. It's a very clean, speaking of worker placement games that are streamlined, it's a very nice, clean, streamlined worker placement game. You can play it in 30 minutes, a 2-player or less. Well, again, depending on AP, people get AP, but it's a management of the threat coming out against you, against the resources you need to gain, and you're building your vaults. I'm not a Fallout person. I don't know a lot about the game. I like the art and everything that comes with it, and you don't need to be a fan of the Fallout Shelter to really enjoy this worker placement game. It's really well done. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? I've never played Dead Men Tell No Tales, so I believe Stephen is asking Dean in the comments because Dean brought it up, catching up here. And then Forgotten Waters. So Meeper. Again, pronunciations. I'm not sure what the screen names are going for, but it's one E, so I'm going to say Mepper instead of Meeper because Meeple has two E's. Anyway, let's see. Forgotten Waters is very lighthearted. It is one of those games I can see playing with a family. It's a light game, and it's a lovely activity for the right group of people. And I think that it's a very enjoyable experience for that. For me, I want a little bit more if I'm going to jump into that. I really like the choose your adventure stuff, but the narrative on this game is wonderful. And so if you want to have a nice time, and because they do the narrative spoken through the app, you don't have to read it all. It's a nice experience at the table. Uh, is it for me? No, I'll just say that it's not, but I absolutely can see getting this for someone. I haven't been a big fan of many of the Crossroads games so far just because it's just not my kind of game. But each one I've played has shown something interesting and new than over the previous one that I can see some really great things. Like Aftermath was really interesting in how they approached the gameplay with the different factions. And Forgotten Waters, I think, is just really great. I think out of all of them, I would say it's the best one of the ones I've played. I should say I played Comanauts, Aftermath, and now this, as far as this line of the storybook style games. So let's see. Hey, David's in the comments. So David, I talked a little bit about the games that I'd love for you to let people know in the comments about Dead Reckoning and what you thought, as well as Steve, Nadia, and what kind of interesting different pirating mechanisms they brought above and beyond the typical pick up and deliver, if you think about it and want to. Or you're Steven's still here. He came in to say hi and then he bounced maybe. But anyway, yes, I have mentioned Dead Reckoning. I showed some pictures, but while you're talking, I can bring those pictures back up, or while I'm talking about it again, I can bring them back up. I only have a few, but let's see. These are the three that I pulled that came out pretty good. I was having trouble pulling them from Instagram, so I told everybody to go to our Instagram to see the others because there's a really interesting table presence to this game. So he'll give his thoughts in the comments, so be sure to tune back there for those. Is there a really good pirate video game? I imagine so. I feel like yes, there should be. Why isn't it coming to my mind? I don't know. Probably because I haven't played it or it's been too long since I played video games as a general rule. So, oops, those aren't Dead Reckoning photos, are they? Those aren't. That's pulling from the wrong set. So I don't have Dead Reckoning photos. You guys need to ignore me. Forget about that because they're not coming through correctly. So I apologize. I think those were from something else. So ignore those photos. Those weren't the right ones. I tried to pull those from the right folder, but I was wrong, folks. And that's what happens when I'm not the one taking pictures of the games myself. So anyhow, Dead Reckoning, David says in the comments, is his favorite card drafting game from AEG. That's a pretty good statement. Oh, thanks, Gator Dave. I was wrong. So with that in mind, David's going to have some content on channel, so you get to see more about Dead Reckoning. But I would say please go to Instagram. There are photos there. I wasn't able. Instagram, unlike Facebook, doesn't let me snag the photos off, so I couldn't pull them for the stream today. But you can see them over there, so please check them out. It's really, they're really stunning looking game on the table. So. And as far as when is the Kickstarter coming, I don't know because I imagine David might have that information and can share as well. So with that all being said, outside of those games, I know we've got coming up some very exciting stuff like Role Player. Nova Luna just hit the table again because we were talking about it on Chit Chat, and it's a Spiel Nom. So ultimately, I've played it a ton. It's actually out on our main shelf in our kitchen area where we keep the bulk of our board games because that's where our big table is for when we have folks over. So it sits out there normally, but I brought it back in here because everybody's chatting about it, and I love the game, and it's so quick and easy. Actually, a friend of mine, I said, she had it and she hadn't gotten it out yet. So I'll teach you in 2 minutes. You can teach this game in less than 2 minutes. Set up and teach this game in less than 2 minutes after the first punch uh, of all the tokens and everything. Great game, super easy. Highly recommend it. Everybody check out Nova Luna. Wonderful, wonderful game. So, with that being said, I think we'll call this a shorter weekly rewind tonight. It is Memorial Day weekend, and I know everybody has got hopefully some nice plans, social distancing plans. The weather seems to be keeping up for everybody. We will be back, let's see, Monday night. Typically is Ryan's Magic Monday. I'm not sure if he's doing it with Memorial Day, so we'll have to see. I'm sure he'll update us. And just check out our Discord to stay up to date on what's coming up. But Wednesday, we'll have a live stream, Ryan and I, at noon Eastern. On Friday, we may see David and Jeremy back with another Kill It on Kickstarter, but I can't promise. It's not necessarily a weekly thing. And of course, always on Sundays before this stream, we've got Jeremy Howard doing his solo Sundays on Facebook, plus a bunch of other awesome content he's been bringing to our Facebook live streaming gaming area. So be sure to keep tuned in on our Facebook for all the good stuff there. And of course, our social media, all at Man vs. Maple, and our Discord link in the description. Hope you guys have a wonderful Memorial Day. Stay safe out there. We'll talk to you soon. Bye bye. Whoosh.